Welcome back, guys. I'm Jake Ellenbogen, and today we're going to be talking about two cornerbacks coming from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that could be traded, according to Jeremy Fowler of ESPN. Most of the league believes one of these guys, at least one of them, will be available. We're going to dive into cornerbacks Carlton Davis and Jamel Dean from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, former Super Bowl champions, a second-round pick and a third-round pick in their own right. Before we dive into that, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and of course, be sure to follow me on all social media at JK Bogan. Let's dive into it. So we're going to start off with Carlton Davis. I'm going to explain whether or not he makes sense for the Rams, what he brings to the table, and I'll put together a potential trade package. So let's dive into it with Davis. 6'1", 206, ran a 4.4, at his combine. He's going to be 28 in December. This is a former second-round pick in the 2018 NFL draft. And I think, when you look at Davis, this is a guy that had 324 tackles so far for his career, 9 interceptions, 73 pass deflections. He's given up a 91.8 passer rating targeted for his career. He has a 57.9 total completion percentage giving up for his career, average completion percentage, 26 touchdowns and 44 penalties. So what to take away from Carlton Davis? Well, this is somebody who is kind of a decent sized name, obviously going back to Auburn, but even more so just what he's been able to do in the NFL. He's not a perfect corner. He's not a guaranteed number one corner, but he's a good player and he's had some good years. With that said, he has minimal injury history, although 2023, he had kind of a down year, was held back due to the injuries. And his contract is expiring with a $14.3 million cap hit for whoever takes on that contract. So 2023 with Davis, what you should know, he gave up 5 touchdowns in coverage, 64.6 completion percentage, 107.4 passer rating. He was 64th in run stop grade, 64th of all cornerbacks in PFF run stop grade, 122.3 passer rating given up in zone coverage, and 67.4 completion percentage in zone coverage. So this past year, 2023, wasn't great. And in zone coverage, the Rams predominantly are going to play that cover 3. So you'd obviously like to see them have some good zone corners. He was not great in zone in 2023. In 2022, he gave up 2 touchdowns in coverage, a 54.4 completion percentage, 79.2 passer rating. He was 66th in run stop grade, 94.8 in passer rating in the zone, and in zone coverage, 67.3% completion percentage. So again, just not great in zone coverage. 2021, he gives up 3 touchdowns in coverage, 54.8 completion, 90.4 passer rating. He's 38th in the league in run stop grade, 65.4 rating in zone, which is probably one of the better seasons you're going to see for him in zone coverage, and 62.1 completion. 2020, he gave up 5 touchdowns in coverage, 61.3 completion, 88.2 passer rating, and he was the number 5 overall corner in run stop grade, 78.1 passer rating in the zone, and 63.3 in zone coverage. So what to make of Carlton Davis is this: he looks the part, he feels the part. I mean, you could definitely see the athleticism on full display, but he is more of a man coverage corner. He struggles in zone coverage. I know he had that one really good year, but that's the way that is. As far as him as a run defender, he's iffy. I mean, I mentioned he was 5th in 2020, and ever since he's gone downhill. So that's worth mentioning. In addition to that, he's penalty happy. He gives up 7.3 penalties per season on average, and he seems to have regressed, which is a little concerning. I know he's still 27, will be 28 at the end of the season, but it does feel like, Carlton Davis has regressed a little bit. And just looking at the cap hit, that drives a hard bargain the Buccaneers are going to have to take on a lot of that money if they do trade him. So my projected trade package here for the Rams, if they were going to acquire a player like Carlton Davis, would be 2024 6th round pick for Carlton Davis and a 2025 7th round pick. I think this is right out of the old Les Snead playbook. I think they give up a 6th rounder in 2024 if they were to acquire Carlton Davis, and they would also acquire a 2025 7th. That is where I am on Carlton Davis. An expiring deal, not exactly an affordable deal. A guy that looks like he's regressing, and I don't really feel like he's a scheme fit. I would pass altogether on going out and getting Carlton Davis. That's just me, but personally, I don't think he's a bad corner. I just think he's more fit to be in man coverage. So for a team that's man heavy, that plays that single high, okay. But, you know, for the Rams, playing the cover 3 that they do, I just don't really see with that much zone. I understand they play match zone, which is kind of like, you know, man coverage at the same time, but not really. But I don't think Carlton Davis would be a fit for the Rams. So I'd have to say no to this, and I would pass. But there's another cornerback in Tampa, which we will get to after these messages from our sponsor, Mantis Sleep. This is the sound mask. I've told you this before. If you've seen any of my videos, you can go and get it on Mantis Sleep using the promo code in the description, JK Bogan. Obviously the link in the description, promo code's JK Bogan. You'll get 10% off your purchase. This is a sleep mask, so it's going to help you sleep, but the sound mask allows you to connect your phone, 20 plus hours of battery life, and you have these razor thin speakers go right into your ears. You can listen to podcasts, music, whatever, you know, helps you get to sleep. A lot of people struggle to fall asleep. This thing is going to help you. Mantis Sleep. JK Bogan, 10% off. Back to the video. So let's talk about it. Jamel Dean, pretty much the same size at 6'1", 206, but he ran a 4.3, and he was a 3rd round pick out of Auburn that was drafted in 2019. So funny that they drafted both of those guys, different times, of course, but they did play, college together. And he has 254 tackles, 7 interceptions, 45 pass deflections for his career. With Tampa, he's been there his whole career. If you guys remember Jamel Dean, I've been a fan of his for a while. You might not remember, but first off, he was one of the guys that I wanted the Rams to go out and get the offseason after they won the Super Bowl. I thought he definitely fit the bill. I thought he was just the right corner for the job. However, that was not what happened, and he re-upped with the Buccaneers. Now, I think Jamel Dean, looking at his 87.9 passer rating targeted, his 56.9 completion percentage given up, he has 7 interceptions for his career, as mentioned, but 19 touchdowns given up. And his penalties are super low compared to a guy like Carlton Davis, who has played an additional year, but has 44 for his career, while Jamel Dean only has 16. And if you think about that, that's 5 years, 16 penalties. He's not really accumulating that many penalties per season. And when you look at it, this was one of the more higher penalty rates this past year with 4. So I like Jamel Dean more right off the rip, but I'll get more into it. Again, he's part of the Jeremy Fowler report. A lot of teams see both Carlton Davis and Jamel Dean being potentially traded, one or the other at the very least. He was held back just like Carlton Davis in 2023 due to injury. Okay. He hasn't had anything substantial, but dealt with some concussion issues like, Carlton Davis. He's had some ankle stuff. Nothing too major. He hasn't had any really major structural damage. So he's not damaged goods, so to speak. But his 2023 wasn't great. He gave up 5 touchdowns in coverage, 68.9 completion percentage, and 128.6 passer rating targeted. He was the number 2 cornerback in run stop grade according to PFF, 136.1 rating in zone, and 74.3 completion percentage in zone as well. So This is a zone corner, but this year was not it. And I'm not really sure what happened to the Bucs defense, but it was not great this year, at least in the secondary. 2022, he gave up 5 touchdowns in coverage, 50 completion percentage, 81.3 passer rating targeted, number 7th in the league in run stop grade, according to PFF, 80.9 passer rating when targeted in zone, and 54.3 completion percentage when targeted in zone. 2021, he gave up only 1 touchdown in coverage, 52.4 completion percentage, 60.7 passer rating, 84th run stop grade, 62.6 passer rating in zone, and 57.6 completion percentage in zone. 2021 was his best season to date, and it really showed off the capabilities he has as a zone coverage corner, but just a cornerback in general. I think the thing with Jamel Dean is that we'll talk about it here now. In 2020, he gave up 5 touchdowns in coverage, 63.1 completion percentage, 94.6 passer rating. He was the 100th graded corner in run stop rate, 74.2 passer rating in zone, and 62.2 completion percentage. So again, more of a zone coverage corner. But I feel like he has a well-rounded game. And the thing that is really cool to see is that he was becoming a good zone corner in 2021. And of course, he's drafted in 2019. So in his 3rd year, he was really starting to come on strong. That's his best year. Now, he might have fallen off a little bit. That could be the scheme. That could be his teammates. I don't know. The point I'm making here, though, is that Jamel Dean in 2021 had his best year in coverage, but he was 84th overall in the run. Then the next year, he's 7th, and the year after that, he's 2nd. This is somebody that has worked on his craft, and it is showing up. Again, he had a down year in coverage in 2023, but I see these things and I get excited. And you see the zone coverage numbers, and it's like, of course, the 136.1 rating in zone isn't great, but it was an injury-riddled season in 2023. He hasn't had anything like that. Passer rating when targeted in zone, 80.9, 62.6, 74.2 before 2023. So I feel good about that. The 74.3 completion percentage when targeted in zone is wicked high, but 2022, 2021, and 2020, respectively, 54.3, 57.6, and 62.2. So my point being is that he's shown more consistency than Davis. He's gotten better than Davis, in my opinion. He's more well-rounded. He's worked on his craft to the point where he wasn't great in the run. Now he's really good in the run. And I just see a guy that I think would be a really nice schematic fit for the Rams. So again, up until this season, Dean was really turning it on. Again, you'd like to see him not give up 5 touchdowns in a season, but that's also not a horrible number. And I also feel like that's a really misleading stat. So I try to give guys the benefit of the doubt. What would it cost, though? Well, if you trade up, for Jamel Dean, just know it's going to be a $12.6 million cap hit straight up. Okay, you can work with that, of course. And this is what I said in the previous Eagles video. If you haven't seen that, check that out after. But you can work with this. We've seen it before. You're not necessarily bound to the 12.6. The Rams could say, hey, we're not going to take that on. If you want to move his deal, you're going to have to lower, that cost. You're going to have to take on some of that money. And we've seen that. So it's not, 100% ironclad. 12.6 goes right onto the Rams cap, but it is worth mentioning straight up. That's what it would be if you didn't touch the deal. So what would the projected trade package be for Jamel Dean? Well, I will tell you right now. I put together a trade package for Jamel Dean, and a trade package that I believe would be feasible. I think, I'm going to say this right now before I even say it, I think the Rams and Jamel Dean would be a really good fit because he has the size for the outside, but he's great in the run game, and he's had some really good years as a zone coverage corner. Again, the biggest issue, 2023, but he's been hurt. So, projected trade package, 2024, 5th round pick. The Rams have 2 of them. They would be sending one of them over to the Buccaneers. And in turn, the Buccaneers would acquire Well, they would acquire the 2024 fifth round pick. The Rams would acquire Jamel Dean, and they would acquire a 2025 seventh round pick. This is also another one of those perfect less need moves. It is a pick swap, but you're essentially giving up a 2024 for a 2025. You're going down 2 rounds, and you're getting Jamel Dean. Dean is a better corner than Carlton Davis, in my opinion, but Carlton Davis is more fit for a man coverage fronted scheme. With the Rams mainly focusing on zone, not to say they never run and they never put guys in man coverage, but with the Rams having a focus on zone coverage, I think Jamel Dean is a good fit. I think he is affordable. The Rams would have to, mix and match with that contract. But also think about this. He's also under contract. His deal expires after the 2026 season, which means he'd be a free agent in 2027 when Matthew Stafford's a free agent. So at age 28 in October, currently he's 27. This is not a bad deal for the Rams. Carlton Davis is an expiring deal. Okay. You'd be getting a guy at 28 that you would have to pay as he gets on the open market. But with Jamel Dean, you'd have some years of control with him. I feel like because of that, they might ask for more, but I think a 2024 fifth is definitely fair. So I'm going to say this, if the Rams can do this and bring back Ahkello Witherspoon and put Ahkello Witherspoon next to Jamel Dean, I think that's a really good 1-2 punch at corner. And I think you have 2 guys that can, play the role of being a number 1 corner. When Jamel Dean's at his best, he's really good. When Ahkello's at his best, he's really good. You talk about that length on the outside with Ahkello, the speed with Jamel Dean and Ahkello both being able to run in the 4.3s. The recovery's there, the baiting is there. And I really think at the end of the day, that would make a lot of sense. But I'm curious what you guys think in the comments section below. Would you want Jamel Dean or Carlton Davis? To me, there's only one obvious choice. It's not like Hassan Reddick and Josh Sweat. I feel like I prefer Josh Sweat, but I can understand the fit with Hassan Reddick. I just don't think Carlton Davis is a fit. If they go out and get him, fine. Then clearly they know more than I do. I mean, they know their needs more than I do. We also don't know exactly what Chris Shula is going to run this year. We have an idea it's going to be derivative of what Raheem Morris and Brandon Staley ran, maybe some mixing and matching of guys that he's seen in the past, like a Wade Phillips. But at the same time, we don't know for sure. They might have a completely new type of style this year. There might be some new things. And if that's the case, maybe Carlton Davis is a fit in this new scheme. I don't think it's going to be that much new, though. I don't really think much is going to change. There'll be some, different things here and there, some different wrinkles. But because I don't think much is going to change, Jamel Dean is the no-brainer. And if you can get him for a 2024 fifth, you're going to have a hard time finding a corner that's as good as Jamel Dean's going to be in 2024 out of the 5th round. I know they've done a nice job with 5th round picks, but I do think Jamel Dean would be worth it. So again, let me know in the comments section below. Follow me on social media at JKBogan, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, folks. Later. Do you love talking about the Rams, the NFL, or just want to be a part of a community? Join my free Discord server today. We're over 800 members. We got 24/7 live chat, a level 3 boosted server, the ability to call into JE Live, playing online games with us on Kick streams, toggleable alerts for when I go live on YouTube or Kick so you don't miss a live stream, and exclusive giveaways. Click the link in the description, the comments section, or the link that comes up in the video to learn more and join today.